Hi everyone, and welcome back to King Myers. I'm Ariadna,
And I'm Dylan.
and we're back here for a very special second-parter last episode of KPM Supernatural. Oh my goodness! First of all, hi Sam. Hi.
Hi.
We're here. We've done a bunch of episodes. This is our 8th episode. Goodness gracious, all the way since February.
I can't believe all the months that have passed.
I know, right?
Feels like
3 apparently.
Time has just flown.
It really has. Okay, we're definitely going to do something special at the end of the episode, but because I'm just getting ahead of myself, as always, of course. As y'all know, we talked about it 2 weeks ago on May the 4th be with you, apparently. I just had to. I had to slid it. I couldn't resist. I forgot to say in the last episode, I'm like, wait, no, that episode, May 4th, we talked about our personal experiences. First parter, we talked about Sam's basement, apparently, a lot.
Yeah, you need to actually, if you've not listened to that episode, you need to go back and listen to it, because never has a layout of a basement meant so much to a story.
Exactly.
You need that backstory.
Exactly. So if you haven't heard that one, go back and listen to it, please, and thank you.
By this episode, I should have a post somewhere on Sam So Spooky with pictures of the house.
Exactly.
I'm
but still
so excited.
But still, go back and listen to it, because we included a lot of your stories, and we got sentimental, because I'm always sentimental. We included a couple of Dylan's stories, and here we are, basically.
Indeed.
So we're going to start like we did last episode with a couple of fun questions.
Okay.
And my first one for y'all is, have you ever been to a cemetery at night?
Yes, I have.
I
actually don't think I have. I mean, I've walked past one, but I don't think I've been in a cemetery at night.
Would you want to?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, I was going to say.
I think about breaking the law is bad, kids.
We have young listeners.
But I think about what it would be like to be in the one by my house all the time, like, because it's just so freaking huge. I'm just like, I want to be in there.
We definitely have been cemetery at night.
Yeah, plenty of times.
Plenty of times in Salem, and
the one in Salem at night is so cool.
It is cool. You took really cool pictures. We both did, actually. We have a nice.
Right, I was in the Sleepy Hollow Cemetery at night.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right. I don't know if
I wasn't like walking around the gravestones or anything. It was for Halloween 2018. They did like a thing where you were like on a hayride through the cemetery.
Exactly. So you have been. There you go. Especially Sleepy Hollow one.
Yeah. I had a friend get really drunk. They jumped the fence into the cemetery, but then because they were drunk, they got stuck and they couldn't get back over the fence. They were in the cemetery at night, drunk for 2 hours.
One way to anger the spirits.
Oh, exactly. Dude, we're just
I think the spirits were amused.
Dumbass.
They probably walked through the fence right past him, like, see how easy it is? Look at me.
So definitely, we went to Salem. We went to the one where your grandparents are buried in.
Mm-hmm.
And probably a few more in my lifetime. I like cemeteries a whole lot, so.
Me too.
Yep. And then another random fun question is, I like this one a lot. Have you ever felt that you knew someone the first time you met them?
Oh yeah.
Plenty of times for me.
No.
Oh wait, I thought you were kidding. You're so sarcastic sometimes. I really thought you were kidding.
I don't think on the spot, no. If I think about it, probably.
I think, because I know you, I think it was going to be yes for certain people in your life.
Interesting.
I know, right?
I'll ponder it.
Okay.
There's actually an app now that will tell you if you did know that person in a past life or not.
Facebook? Oh, the past life, sorry.
Yeah, Facebook.
Classic Facebook.
I know.
Facebook of the future is wild.
I know, right?
It profiles not just your life now, but your past life too. That's extreme data mining.
Oh my God.
You laugh about it,
I'm
but
not
I'm
even
like,
on
yes,
Facebook anymore. I can't take Facebook.
I wouldn't put it past Zuckerberg.
That's also true. Oh God. But yeah, no. Which app is this now? Apparently another app. See, there you go.
It's called the Pattern. And
wait, yeah.
Yeah, you enter in your natal chart, and then you can create either a profile for your friends, or like they can create their own. And what it does is it takes your natal chart and it overlays it with the other person's, and it can tell you essentially if you knew them in a past life or not. Of course, it'd be easier to just go to a witch shop and get a past life reading from either a witch or a psychic medium, because you'll get more definitive answers.
Exactly.
So,
but yeah, you told us about the app literally months ago by now, and we do use it literally every day by now, to be honest. And Dylan and me have known each other from past lives.
We have?
Yes, we have. We've talked about this, but I mean, the amount of times you don't listen to me is,
I listen. There's so much information in my head.
There is. It goes both ways, though. Not about the same subjects, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, wrestling and football and games and Stephen King books. But
my life.
Literally. Anything King Pomar related. But what was I gonna say? Gosh darn it. Oh, so like the whole thing, like when you met them before, I thought about us immediately because it felt like that off the bat.
Interesting.
We felt comfortable with each other literally off the bat.
Yeah.
My best friend in the world's mom, who I also call mom, she's my mom too, has like a really beautiful story that I'm going to sum it up really quickly. But basically, her and my best friend's dad at one point were like walking down a bridge holding hands, and when they reached the end of the bridge, they both looked at each other and they realized like they both had the same feeling and thought, and it all occurred to them that they'd been to that same place in a past life together.
I've had that happen before as well.
I have, and I wanted to.
Oh my God. I'm a very, we keep using this word a lot, sensitive, because we're all sensitive in our own very different kind of ways. But with this, it's like, I know I've seen a lot of past life stuff for myself and for other people, especially, I wasn't say close friends, but no, by now it could literally be anybody more or less. I think we've talked about this as like not on air basically, but like how just random people tell us their stories, their life stories randomly and things like that, or I can connect their dots and I know exactly what they're going through or like something that has happened. So I do see that a lot. And because I don't know if I'm going to call myself nostalgic, I think me and Dylan always play around with that word with me, but because I'm maybe not, I don't know if sentimental, because we talked about childhood homes in the first part of this episode, and we'll continue today, obviously. But what I'm trying to get at specifically is that there's certain elements in my life that I connect together. It might not be very material, like a house or like a certain place, but maybe like a feeling or an event. And through that, I can just like see those kind of have those kind of moments. And I think it's just the coolest thing ever.
I'd love to have a past life moment. I'd love to know the name of myself in my past life, and then I want to go visit my own grave and be like, we made it back, bitch, what's up? I'm gonna pour one out for myself.
Exactly.
Wait, if I get a psychic medium or whatever, they can tell me like details of who I once was?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. This is something that we're gonna like start with you this year. Well, continue at this point of the year, I guess. But continue.
I'm a first year. I get it.
And I want to go through, we talked about the other day, and we're not going to go on a side tangent because there's so much good stuff that we want to hear from Sam and Dylan's stories and the special surprise at the end. But the quick little thing is that we were just talking with him because Sam and me already knows about horoscopes and astrology a little bit more. And we talked about the moon rising, the moon rising, sun, and midheaven. Yeah. Right? There you go. I was literally just explaining this to him again, but not to be repetitive. It's just like a little bit more further explanation. All the other signs, and I'm like, we gotta do our birth charts, and I'm really excited for this, and that's something on the list to tie up, like for like fun, apart from bills and annoying things like that. And yeah, there's so much more for you to discover that you would absolutely love and adore. And the fact that this is, I'm just going on like I'm so excited. That's the thing. I think it's the best thing that we mentioned this in the last episode of the season for KPM Supernatural, simply because that's going to lead the way for like our next season. Because from here to next season, you're going to be doing so many other stuff.
Indeed.
So I think our audience can be like really excited for this. And so same with me as well. That's all. Yay. I just cheered myself on because, it's me.
I'm very excited to learn more because, I've learned a lot talking to you guys, but I want to meet like a psychic medium, and I want to do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Have Sam come over to the Ouija board.
That was going to be one of the questions for today, but we don't know how time to talk about the Ouija board, and that's for season 3. That's for season 3. No.
Boo.
But
I don't hate Ouija boards. I just think you should be careful with Ouija boards.
Of course.
Yeah, no, we can have a long hour debate on Ouija boards itself because both of you, I agree with Sam. Dylan is just a whole different version of the answer, basically.
I want to tempt it all. I want to risk it all. I want to roll the dice.
All right. So with that being said,
we're getting calls right now saying people are demanding us talking about Ouija.
I do agree with that
statement. The phones are ringing off the hook right now.
Do you feel like Frasier?
Yes.
What does he say at the beginning? Like when he gets the call?
I'm listening.
Anyways.
And the people are pissed.
Of course.
Hashtag Ouija. Hashtag season 7. Season 3.
Season 7. To manifest. Way to manifest. Season 7.
I'm not waiting that long. No. I will cancel this thing before we get to that.
What year would that be? 2023? 2024?
Okay.
I would think so. It depends how many seasons we do per year. With all being said, it is May, obviously. We'll be back.
Folks at home, never manifest in front of witches because they get so ungodly excited. It's like, no, come back. I said the wrong number.
Making a wish. You're like, no, I didn't wish for that. And they're like, yes, you did.
Yes, you did. You said season 7 of KPM. Check back with us on May 28th at the end of this month with our last episode of the season, literally.
My birthday.
Yeah, exactly. It's Sam's birthday as well. So it's definitely a huge shout out. I know, right? And we might have a season 3 date for you then. Let's just find out when we get there. It's still a bit away. It's still like 2 weeks away. Sure. All right. Enough talking about season 7. Let's go back to season 2, the last episode of KPM Supernatural. Dylan.
Yes.
You have another story to tell us.
Unfortunately, my good ones have been spent on episode 1, but these ones are just kind of odd occurrences. Things that happened to me, and one thing that happened to my aunt. I'll start with my aunt. When my Nana passed away, my mother's mother, when she passed away, like her and my papa have always been like the foundation of our family. My papa passed away a couple of years ago, but she died in 2002, and that was just rocked the family. And one day, I think they were preparing for the funeral. I was a little kid, so I was off somewhere else, probably with like family or something. And my aunt came to the house by herself, and she was very freaked out by it. And she's like, I swear to God, like this happened. I'm not making this up. She says that I think like the day after my Nana had passed away, she looked outside the kitchen window and you can see just the backyard. In the backyard, she's like, there were thousands of black crows. And she's like, why is there no one else here to see this? Where is everyone? They're death. What the hell? And yeah, people came back and they were all gone. But yeah, right after my Nana died, my aunt by herself in her home.
That's fascinating.
That really is.
Like when a spirit dies, the thing that you see the most of will be flies. But like for it to be crows, That's interesting.
I think it goes back to what we were saying in the first episode, like our first part of the, not our first episode of the season, but like the one that we said 2 weeks ago, the first parter, on how you were as a person when you were alive.
Yeah. Did your Nana, by any chance, like feed the crows or like give them things? Because crows will remember that.
I mean, she did work in the garden. I think they may have had bird feeders. I mean, I think I was like 11 or 12 when she passed away, so I really didn't know like her daily routine. It was just she was Nana. She cooked delicious food.
Oh, wait a second. Was it in this house?
Yes.
It was in this house.
Yes.
That's another thing about this house, actually. If you heard the first parter, great. Thank you very much for doing so. There's a lot of key factors that you need to know that we said on the first episode. And one of them is the house where we're at, which is Dylan's family home for the past, once again, 40 years, give or take.
Mm.
And we're currently here. And we currently are in the room. We're currently in your Nana's old room. And where did Nana pass away?
In this room.
In this room.
Lovely.
I think when we moved in, the bed was in the same position. It wasn't the same bed. The room
you
since
Did you see the pause in my face? I was like,
no, thank you. Since 2008 till 2019, a lot of things happened in this house, and one of them was, changing some sort of furniture. Not all of it by any means. And but when we moved in, the bed is brand new and whatnot, but it was in the same place where she had it. We then changed it, but not because of that. We changed it because we just changed the furniture to have more space, and we have a cat, and it made more sense, basically. But we had it there for about a year.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was fine. I always forget.
I didn't tell you till like a while in, like, oh, by the way, fun fact of the day.
Oh no. I would have killed you.
I really don't want to I feel like not going to another tangent, because we can talk about this like the Ouija board, kind of like, the whole hour basically. But I feel because I'm very spiritual, I think by now our whole audience understands the fact that I'm a very spiritual person, that between the healing stuff that I already do and the energy healing and my aromatherapy and all these sorts of things that I already bring as a person, I don't think there's a big connection. And once again, if you haven't heard this enough, I'll say it again. I moved around since I was a baby. The amount of rooms I've been in, the amount of really bad situations that I've been in rooms, I've learned to, clean the air and the environment and the energy. So, especially with everything in general.
Lots of cleansing.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not as intuitive as both of you, but I can easily say that the fact that I'm in this room, I think my Nana is like, yes, my boy's in my room, and everyone wants to fuck out, because that was my Nana.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, if you heard the first episode, you already know. I mean, you were best friends with your papa.
Yeah.
But with both. Especially with your papa, of course, but still, like...
I mean, while he did pass away in the hospital, he passed away technically in the house because he had a brain aneurysm. And...
What part of the house again?
His room.
His room, yeah. Well, that makes sense.
So when that happened, I mean, when he was at the hospital, the doctor's like, he's gone. Like, he is completely gone.
And his grandparents are very old-fashioned.
Just
to
a
the
bit.
point. Just to the point that they slept to the point that they slept in separate rooms. So they actually passed away, even though in the same house, in separate rooms. Which I always found it.
In a lighter note, my grandfather always said, I'm never going to a damn nursing home. I'm going to expire in my house. And I'm like,
and that he did.
Expire in your house. Papa, can you make it any more crude? Man did not care.
I'm going to expire.
Like, I'm going to die on my own damn property.
Exactly, like a free American.
Pretty much. So my question before we continue Sam's story, please,
Yes.
is going back to your original story, your aunt.
Yes.
She saw the crows out here in our backyard now.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was covered.
You know, a group of crows is called a murder of crows, right?
That's a piece of information I once knew, then forgot, and now just relearned because of you. So thank you.
You're
there
welcome.
You go.
Should I go into my second part of my story, or should we wait till after Sam goes?
Let's do after. Let's
Okay.
go into Sam a little bit, but before once again we continue, I just realized because you're very descriptive of your house, your childhood house, this house back then in 2002, sorry. The backyard was, I mean, not huge, but there, like right now there's a house like literally right there. I mean, we have a big backyard, but like there's a house literally right there.
Yeah.
As well. But back then there was no house at all.
No
houses. So like it felt like I'm seeing it visually. I'm like, oh my god, that's actually a big chunk of land.
It was a forest.
Exactly. Where you see all these crows. It's not like a miniature place. You're like, that's the crows have eyes. #Schitt's Creek. Go watch it. All right. Sam was just like, oh god, these two. Odiando. Hi, Sam.
Hi, guys.
Tell me a tale.
Tell us a tale. More tales of your story, please.
Alrighty. Well, as promised, in the last episode, I said I would tell one of my funniest ghost stories that happened in my childhood home and one of the scariest, creepy ones. But before I do, I will say that I have not mentioned yet what exactly our ghosts did, like their capabilities, which is in my childhood home, my ghosts, you could see them, you could hear them, they could touch you, they could move things. They were like a full-on haunted house. And I'm not the only one who can attest to that. You have my mother and my sister. And then, of course, every single person who ever came through our house, all of our babysitters, my mom's boyfriends, family friends. They even have stories about being in our house when we weren't in our house. Like, everyone walked away with a story if you set one foot in that house. So, but going on, and also the other thing I want to answer real quick, a question would be, you guys might be wondering if I thought the ghosts were attached to the house or not. I am actually not sure, because at one point, and you might remember in the first episode, I described that my house, my grandparents' house, and my great-grandparents' house are all on the same 36 acres of property. At one point, we were living with my grandmother for 2 months, and we saw the little girl ghost in her house, my mother and I. So we're not entirely sure. But anyways, I'll start with the funniest story. So my mom, though she confirmed we had ghosts and that night was kind of scary, the way she did it, but also funny. At first it was creepy and scary knowing it, like once she officially said it, but then my mom she was always a very sense of humor type person, which is probably part of where I get it from. And so after a while, she was able to kind of crack jokes and make light of it. And she used to say things like, I feel like they're actually watching over us. They're looking out for us. So my mom, she either really felt that way or she was trying to comfort us. I don't know. But her being a single mom with 2 daughters, my mom had no quarrels about being in the bathtub with the bathroom door open. So there's one day after school, I'm in my mom's room watching TV. My sister's in the living room watching whatever she's watching. And my mom's taking a bath with the bathroom door open. Now, the bathroom is right across the hall diagonally from her bedroom door. So I'm sitting in a room, I'm watching the TV, and all of a sudden I hear her yell, "Are you getting a good look out there?" And I'm like, what? I know me and Amy are anywhere near her. So I walk over to the bathroom door and I look in at her and I'm like, "Hey, Mom, who are you talking to?" And she leans over the side of the bathtub and she goes, "They are standing right there talking about me. So I asked them, are you getting a good look out there?"
I love how spunky your mom is, I swear.
I try to tell the story the way she said it. It's just so fucking funny. And it definitely helped that she had a sense of humor about most of those situations. But I mean, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, especially at night. At night it was different, which again feels just like Hill House, because the common quote in the movie, the show, the book, all of it is always, it's different at night in the dark. And especially with the house not having any immediate neighbors, so it's dark.
I didn't tell you this in the first episode, but you did remind me of the movie The Others.
Yeah, a little bit. My mom actually watched that movie with us as a kid, and she liked it, which my mother was not a horror movie person. It was very rare for her to watch one with us. And of course, my sister and I watching horror movies, like at the same time this is all going on, does not help the situation. So,
oh goodness.
But one of the creepiest, scariest experiences I had was, and it sucked, because when my mom would fall asleep, my mom would be dead asleep. You could not wake her up for the life of you. You could shake her, you could hit her, you could yell, you could bang your fist on a glass door. She will not wake up. And it sucks when you're a terrified little kid. And there was one night, I used to sleep on the far right side of the bed closest to the door. So I would be laying there and I would have my blanket over me, and I'm facing my sister in the middle of the bed, and my mom is on the far left-hand side. And of course, as I described in the first episode, there's 2 big bay windows, and she has a set of blinds that slide across those windows. Now, if the blinds are open at night and we have our nightlight on, the bathroom light across the hall, that means that I can see reflected in the window whatever's behind me, right? Okay, on this particular night, the blinds were closed, which I almost want to say thank God, because what happened was, and another thing I'll mention here is my mother used to triple check locking all the doors and windows, because we had a lot of doors and windows, and she's a single mom, 2 kids, alone. So I would watch her. She would do her nightly routine of triple checking, locking everything. So I know nobody's in the house. All of a sudden, I hear somebody in the living room, and I hear them walking, and they walk into the kitchen, and they walk through the kitchen into the bedroom, and they walk over to the bed, and right at the end of the bed by my feet, I felt someone sit down on the bed right next to me. And I felt the depression in the bed as it sank down. And I was so terrified. I couldn't see who was behind me because the blinds were closed, and I couldn't bear to turn around and look because I was so scared of what I would see. I had my blanket up over my head, and I basically sweat bullets until I passed out of fright. And I'll never know what sat next to me, but I do remember that it happened.
I think you left us speechless.
If you did open your eyes, or if you did get a look, do you think you would have seen someone, something, or do you think nothing would have been there?
I have no idea, because part of why I didn't turn around at the time was I had already seen the movie The Ring at this point, and for some reason I thought that I was going to see something akin to the babysitter in the closet, and that image is burned into my brain because the contorted face freaks me out so much. It's part of why the bent neck lady in Hill House freaks me out too. And I was so scared that was what I was going to see that I didn't turn around.
Oh, yeah. Little Dylan saw The Ring when it first came out. He got it on DVD, and
chills thinking about this.
I have not watched the movie to this day because I was watching it and I was having a good grand old time, and then I think it was the father that says, "I saw her face," and it cuts to that scene.
I know. Oh God.
I lose all breath, and I'm like, I turned it off. I popped out of the DVD player. I put it back in the case. I never watched The Ring again.
It was the same reason why I never opened my mother's closet. I was scared that she would be in the closet.
That was something. I haven't thought about that in a while. Thanks, Sam.
You're welcome. And you know what? That wasn't like the first time that they ever did anything like in the bedroom. Like I had heard them moving around the house many a time. There was even one night where rather than just walking to the bedroom, I heard running towards the bedroom. And my sister wasn't even home. It was just me and my mom. And I was shaking her. I was staring at her doorway in terror because from the kitchen onward, it's pitch black, aside from the bit of light that's pouring from the bathroom into the room. So, you have that sliver of light with pitch black beyond it. And I'm hearing running towards us. And I was shaking my mom, screaming at her to wake up. And it was so weird because it was like one of those things where it would run towards us, but nothing would come out of the darkness. And oh my God, so terrifying for a little kid. But it wasn't, I know they weren't doing it to be malicious. It was just kind of like moving about, or like there's this other thing that they did when we would sleep. And my mother's the one who told me about it because I don't really remember it, and I guess other people have experienced this too from a video I saw recently. But the ghosts would, I don't know if it was just the little girls or the little girl and the mom, but they would take their 2 index fingers, like pointed out like this, like you're pointing, and they would go all the way around the bed, tapping like this, just up and down. And they would start on my mom's side, and they would go down her side of the bed, across the bottom, and up my side. And they would go back and forth, tapping like this, up and down with their index fingers.
And I don't think we really talked about it in the first part of this episode. We know the time that you left, 2005.
Yeah.
And you were 13. When did you move in?
So I was born and raised in that house.
Okay, so 13 years, obviously, then. Yeah. When did you start seeing these people?
We started having experiences maybe when I was around 9 or 10. It's hard for me to say because a good portion of my childhood, again, the trauma response, the timeline is off. I can't pinpoint times.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I know it was in the latter half.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really think things happened when my father was there. I don't really remember things happening when he was there. I think they started happening after he was gone. But I don't know that for sure.
Would that make the most sense? Was he someone who was spiritually inclined like your mom, or not really?
No, he would be the reason that negative energies were cultivated in that house.
That makes sense.
Especially in the basement where he resided.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's always in the basement. Always.
Thank God we didn't have an attic too, because I
don't know if it's always in the basement. I don't agree with that theory. That's always in the basement. I think basement is really typical for scary movies because it's the darkest place, or the least, the place that you're there the least in a house.
Especially in our case.
Exactly. But I think overall, a negative space, a haunted place, it could be literally any corner, even if it's a living room. I feel like I've heard more stories. I've heard a lot of basement stories, obviously, and attic stories, but like your living room, well, the living room we have now, but once again, stating that this is a house that they've had for 40 years. The furniture is the same. Like Dylan can vouch for this. Like he walks in and it's literally the same place or the same furniture like his grandparents had, and so on and so forth. So sometimes you see like the rocking chair move a little bit. No one's there. There's no animal next to it. There's like no kids because we don't have any kids living in this house. Things like that. You know what I mean? So not necessarily always a basement. I feel like it could come in different ways.
It can be anywhere, but I'm just saying.
Speaking of furniture and things, though, I will tell you one of the stories of when we weren't in the house. that's pretty creepy. So like I said, they could move things around, like you were saying, like the rocking chair kind of thing. In fact, there was one Christmas where they rearranged all of our Christmas decorations, and my mother was pissed. And we have a neighbor who, we had basically two neighbors. One's a little closer, but one's further up a field on the other side. And his name was Al. And my mother, it was good friends with him because he knew my grandparents, and like it was a small town, you know. So she used to, like, they had this little thing going where whoever woke up first in the morning, you would look to see if their light was on, and you would call them and like wish them good morning or whatever. And after the Christmas decoration incident, which I think actually happened right after she confirmed we had ghost, I think it was shortly after. And she had called him at one point, and she goes, "If you get some ghosts, Al, it's all my fault because I kicked them out of the house, so they're headed your way." But then, of course, they turned out to still be in our house. But again, anyone who ever came through there had their own experiences, a couple of which I'll tell right now. Like for one example would be our babysitters, because my mom used to, being a single mom, she needs someone there to watch us, especially when she worked the night shift. During the day, we would actually be left home alone, which reminds me of another scary experience I haven't told yet. Sorry. But what happened, I remember one time one of our babysitters was watching me and Amy at night, and in our living room upstairs, so like if you're sitting on the couch, to your right hand side would be the front door, and then adjacent to that, you know, like coming past the front door, you would see the kitchen counter, the dining room, and on your left hand side would be two double sliding glass doors that go out onto the deck. Now, what would happen is she would be sitting there watching us, and she'd hear a knock at the front door, and she'd go to answer it. But the second she answered the front door, she would hear a knock on the sliding glass door on the deck. And so she'd go over there and open the curtain and look on the deck, and there'd be no one there. And of course, the second she looks out on the deck, what does she hear? A knock on the front door. And it would go back and forth like that. And because our house has no neighbors, and it's, like I said, at night it's dark, I remember actually when this happened, our babysitter called my mom, and she was like, "Arlisa, I'm too scared to be here. Can I watch the girls at my house?" Yeah. Or there was, again, the story of when we weren't there, there was a time where my mom, I'm not afraid to say this, she was in rehab for a while, and she was in a hospital, and that was what led to us living with my grandmother for 2 months. But basically, we had a couple family friends who went there to like get some of my mother's things and like put them in a suitcase. So it was just her two friends at the house. Nobody else is there. It's just her two friends. And they showed up around sunset, so it's just getting dark, right? And as they get in the house, their names are Carrie and Raylyn. I know they won't really mind at this point. It's been God knows how many years. But basically, Carrie is like, "I'm going to go to the bedroom and get the things." Raylyn is like, "Okay, I'm going to tidy up the house." So Raylyn's tidying up the living room, the dining room. She closes the curtains on the windows, and she goes into the bedroom to help Carrie finishing getting my mother's belongings together, right? The second they walk out of the bedroom, all the curtains in the house are open. And Raylyn looks at Carrie and she goes, "We got to get the fuck out of here."
Did you live in the other's house? Are you sure that was not the same house? That sounds Steve from the other's house. Literally, Nicole came going crazy.
I feel that sometimes. Especially like the whole mom and the kid thing in the film.
Yeah, exactly. Because the dad wasn't there. Yeah, so it was two kids, boy and a girl. Yeah.
Do you want me to go into the scary daytime story?
Yes.
So, like I said, at night, my mother usually had a babysitter, but during the day, me and my sister, if we didn't have school, especially during summer, we would be left home alone. So, I mean, it was the 90s. You didn't really think twice about leaving your kids home. I mean, and she wasn't really worried about anybody else, you know, being in the house. Our house is fairly secluded, but like we were fine. It was only like a few hours. But I would usually, when I was a kid, I was still very much a night owl. I would stay up all night, sleep through the day. So to me, my mom was getting home when I woke up, whatever. And I would usually, like, aside from sleeping in bed with my mom and my sister, I would also sleep in the living room, and I would watch TV all night, fall asleep to the TV. Now, there's one particular time where I had fallen asleep. I woke up in the morning because my mom woke me up. She's like, hey, I'm going to work. I'm going to leave the phone right here next to you. Call me if you need anything. And I was like, okay, love you, bye. And I went back to sleep. And then a while later, I woke up, and this is the middle of the day. All right. And we got lots of windows. There's plenty of sunlight in the out fucking side. And we had in the living room, aside from the couch, you have that TV, like a big TV in the opposite corner by the double sliding glass doors. And in the TV, if the hall light is on, you can see through the kitchen into the hallway. So I'm sitting in the living room, and I sit up and I look at the TV, and in the TV, because the hall light was left on, I can see somebody standing in the hallway. And I'm like, holy fuck, like I'm sitting there dead still, kind of freaking out a bit. And thank God my mom had left that phone right next to me. So I slowly grab the phone and I dial my mom's work, and Carrie answers. And I said, Carrie, I need you to put my mom on the phone. I need you to put my mom on the phone. And my mom didn't work far away, thank God. Because like I said, the Soundview Shopper, the store my grandparents built, it's all attached to their house. It's all on the same property. She's no more than 7 minutes away. And I'm telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I see somebody in the house. I can see somebody in the house. Now, this is what gets fucking crazy. While I'm on the phone with my mom, another person stepped into frame. Now there are two people in the hallway. And when I saw that second person step into frame, I screamed on the phone, and I was like, Mom! And she immediately hung up that phone, and she drove as fast as she could to get there. And I didn't move. And I don't remember what happened next. I do remember my mom, like, I don't remember if I watched them walk out of frame. I don't remember if they disappeared. I don't remember it. I think I blocked it out, or like I just like of shock, like lost that memory. But I remember my mom bursting through the door, rushing over to me, and then my mom like checking the whole house to make sure nobody else was there. Like, yeah.
Damn. That. Yeah. Fuck. Would you say that was the most intense experience you've had?
I would say it ranks number 2 next to the person sitting down next to me. But again, it wasn't like, there's plenty of scary, and then there was plenty of not so scary. Like one time my mom had an experience when me and my sister weren't home. She had fallen asleep on the couch after work, and she said that she felt the little girl kiss her on the forehead, and she woke up and realized no one was there. And of course, me and Amy weren't even home. So there's all these weird little things. But definitely the scary was scary and the good was good. It was
that's a very beautiful way of putting it, without a doubt.
It really, and you know what? It fits with everything. Like, it fits with the way that I view my childhood home. It fits with the way I view my parents. Even my parents themselves. My father was a dark man who resided in the dark, and my mother was this beautiful ray of sunshine and she embodied it. Like in high school, her nickname was Sunshine. Everyone called her that because of her kindness and her demeanor. She's a Leo, so she's literally ruled by the sun. And she had long blonde hair and tan skin, so sun-kissed skin. My mom was the physical embodiment of sunshine. So literally you have these polar opposite people in this polar opposite place of light and dark.
Once again, knowing more of your background story and all this is like, I can't wait to talk to you after we finish recording today. Like diving deep and like talk about all this. It's fun. It's lessons learned. It's overcoming stuff and so much more. As we shortly and surely, sadly, wrap up, because we kind of sort of have to, because we know we'll be talking, for the next 3 hours.
Unless you want me to tell one more story.
Yes.
Go ahead then.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. This is my sister's 10th birthday.
That sounds like a short story itself.
God damn.
Kind of. So we had a painting in our house, to preface, a painting of a little girl with long curly blonde hair in an old 1800s like dress with a cat in her lap. And the painting looked an awful lot like the little girl in our house. It's not her, but it looked like her. And there was this one time during my sister's one of her birthday parties. I was in my bedroom for once, and my mother was asleep, dead asleep in her bedroom. And Amy and all her friends are in the living room. Now, in the living room, when we had people over, we had like 3 couches, and we would set them up kind of like a square. So like everybody's like hanging out in the middle here. Everyone's like all spread out amidst the 3 couches. And all of a sudden, like I hear like laughing, I hear giggling, everyone's doing their thing. And then all of a sudden I hear someone scream bloody murder, and all the girls are suddenly screaming. And I know my mom's not going to wake up. So I'm like, oh, fuck it. I got to go take a look. All right. I stroll on out there, and I get out there, and I see that all the girls are on the left-hand side of the room, like just all on one couch, staring at the other side of the room in horror. And I'm like, guys, like, what's going on? What happened? So all the little girls, they were playing, they were laughing, they were giggling. And Amy had this friend named Madeline who had long, curly blonde hair. And what had happened is, I guess, the little girl, our ghost girl, wanted to play with Madeline's hair. So while they're all talking, all of a sudden, all the other girls see Madeline's hair going up into the air around her. And that's why they screamed and ran to the other side of the room.
Poor Madeline. She just wanted to have fun with her friends. And
I wonder where Madeline is now and how she tells that story, if she hasn't blocked it out, because there also is a good possibility that you block those things out.
Or maybe she remembers it differently. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if my sister probably remembers it differently too.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that's definitely how I remember it happening.
I'm very thankful for these stories that you want to share it with us. I'm very excited for season 7, apparently, but definitely for season 3, where we can. I'm sure you have more stories, and not only about your childhood, just in general, of course.
I think I hit most of the good ones anyway.
But still, like, we can probably dive in deeper some way somehow. I feel like with this season and the feedback that we're getting, I feel like, yeah.
Did you ever hear them talking like your mom did?
I only ever heard the little girl, and I heard her giggle right behind my head.
Let's see if we had totally different reactions to that. Like, that's so sweet. Yeah, totally different reactions right there.
No, but
I also had her run past me one time when I was in my bedroom. I felt her kind of like, like if you're walking down the street and you bump someone's shoulder, it was kind of like that. She bumped my shoulder, but at the same time, she didn't walk past me. She ran past me. So my shoulder went like this, and my hair went like that. And I screamed and ran in the living room.
Of course. Any last minute questions for Sam before we start telling your story as well?
There's a lot we don't know, and a lot I still don't know. And with all the respect for, what you went through as a kid, would you ever, obviously taking stuff out because, you don't want your life out there, would you ever write a book?
I thought about it. I mean,
because
when people hear about my stories and my life, and including the personal stuff, like all of it together, it's getting pretty book worthy, and I'm only 28, so
you got a lot of material.
I think you got a lot of material. It depends on how you want to do it. And as a writer myself, and I have a like, what is you saying? Do it. I feel like it's probably a good idea. And also, you remind me of the book that I'm kind of writing, which we're not going to talk about right now because we can, again, talk forever. but not Jeff Carter's, even though shout out to him and like your amazing artwork. He was back with us in February. I don't remember why I said Jeff Carter, but hey, always good to give a shout out. Richard Chismar.
Yes.
Chasing the Boogeyman.
Yes.
Pretty similar. We haven't read it yet. It's coming out in August.
Very excited.
So we're very excited for that book. But when we interviewed him back in February, he was telling us something similar. It was his childhood story when he was not childhood, actually, it was like when he was in college, but still stuff happening in the town that happened to him. He talks a lot about his parents, all these sorts of things. So like once again, it's like that connection moment of all of them come together.
Ooh.
But yeah. All right, Dylan, your turn, and then a few more questions on the surprise. I mean, that's it.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Well, once again, going back to my grandparents, it's funny because I've actually had a few select family members who will go nameless, kind of sit me down and almost like have a deposition with me, demanding as many details as I could possibly give up. Because the night that my grandmother died, I found out in the morning. That's when everyone found out that she passed away in her sleep. I had a dream that I was at her funeral. And, I said goodbye to her, woke up and like, oh, Nana died. I was like, I have to go through this twice in one day? The hell? And then when my papa died, the following day, he came to me in a dream, and being his military insanely blunt self, he's like, Dylan, I'm dead. I'm like, thanks thanks Papa.
I love that. That's how I want to be as a spirit. Dylan, I'm dead.
just letting you know again, just triple checking with you that this is this.
Well, he had to know, knowing Papa, he had to tell me himself, like, just to confirm, and like he had to be the one like to put the
it's almost like he was saying too, like, I'm not gonna haunt you because I don't care to. Like, I'm dead. That's that. I'm not coming back. All right.
It sounds like him.
I'm gonna go to heaven and I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm gonna do more stories.
It's like...
So yeah, that's kind of this episode is based really about my Papa and Nana, but I do have a few fun stories.
So wait, you've for sure never had an experience of your own of any kind?
From what I know, I can't think of one, but who's to say?
I'm sure you can dig down.
Well, yeah,
and we'll definitely find some, because I know you. I'm married to you, so there's a lot of bits and pieces that we can put together.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, your spirit dreams kind of count.
Yeah, they really do. I think they definitely count.
But like a spirit in real life experience.
I like to think so. Once again, it's kind of one of those things I have to dig. Because when you were telling your stories, I was taking a couple of notes because you started jogging my memory of things that happened to close family members and things.
All right, unlock your memories.
Exactly.
Trying.
The more we talk about it, the more they'll come.
Yeah.
Obviously so. And then you do want to like find out about this kind of things.
Yeah.
These kind of things. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I can finally bring this back up again. If you guys might remember when we did our best of paranormal episode, I talked about how much I hated the Paranormal Activity movies and how that her being dragged into the basement terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this
now
makes
you know
sense.
Why?
Exactly.
Yeah, understandable. I got that.
It also, that was a good segue, because my next question, or a little mini segment before we wrap up the season of KPM Supernatural, is a little bit of a throwback of what we talked about, so a little bit of refresher, and you reminded me of what you said about the paranormal, but also the most haunted places. So we talked a lot, this is way back, I think in February, if I'm not mistaken. We talked about most haunted places, and about the ghost lady who loves lavender, apparently, in the hotel.
Yeah.
But how in the first part of the episode we talked about like what places would you haunt, and I'm like, oh my god, like all the ghosts we talked about in that episode as well.
Yeah.
It makes sense. My goodness. Yeah. We talked about, well, of course, the first one was very introduction. It was like, what's a ghost? I want to place somebody's haunted. I don't think we shared a lot of our stories there.
You were just getting the definitions of different types of ghosts down.
Exactly. We talked about demons and demonology, and demons are the reason you can't sleep, Sam. So
sleep paralysis.
Exactly. So if you missed that one and you like talking about demons, go back and listen to that one, please. That one came out oh goodness gracious, March. I think at the end of March, if not mistaken. The April ones were really fun. Last month was really fun because we talked about different cultures. I talked a lot about Day of the Dead, of course, but also like Venezuelan cultures, and we talked a lot about like how
there's nothing going on and too much going on in Dutch culture at all.
Exactly, how death is perceived between dark and light in different places, basically. The witchcraft one was really fun. The veil, unveiling the veil, or lifting the veil, or whatever we called it. And the witchcraft one, definitely. So, as we finish up...
I have one final story.
Ooh, you do?
Yes.
All right.
And it's...
You unlocked a memory?
Unfortunately, not one of mine, but it is very close family friends. Their dad told me the story, and he's told it many times, and I absolutely love it. It was around 10, 11 o'clock at night, and he's in the kitchen, and he's getting himself a bowl of ice cream. And he looks at the door, and he realizes it's locked, and he's like, my wife's going to be home in like an hour and a half. She works the graveyard shift. Let me unlock it for her because I want my bowl of ice cream. I'm watching my war movie. I am not getting up to open this goddamn door. So he goes to the door, he unlocks it, goes, sits down. He's eating his ice cream. Hour and a half rolls by, his wife knocking. Hey, open the door. It's unlocked. Banging. Unlock the door. It's unlocked. Just open it. She's banging even harder. Open the goddamn door. I'm tired. I had a long day. He's like, he's ready to fight. He gets up. He goes to the door. Door's locked. And he's like, it was one of the boys. He unlocks the door. He lets her in. She's like, why did you? He runs upstairs and he's ready to like have it out with his hooligan sons. They're all dead asleep. And he knows when they're faking or not. And he's like, what the hell? Their house is very, very old. When someone goes down those stairs or goes up those stairs, you hear it. You hear those creaking stairs. He's like, I heard nothing. And yeah, I was watching my war movie, but I would have known if I heard the boys coming downstairs. And she's like, what is wrong with you? You know, why would you not get up? And he's like, I unlocked it. And he tells her the whole thing, and he's kind of frantic about it. He's like, how is the door locked? I know I unlocked it. As he always says, out of sheer laziness, I unlocked that door so I didn't have to get back up. And she's like, well, I don't know. And he's like, well, it's not happening again. He gets a hammer and he smashes the deadbolt off the door. And he's like, don't have to deal with that anymore.
Oh my God. I love it. Ice cream, a war movie, and bashing the deadbolt off the door.
That's a good summary for that family. That really is.
Your move, Poltergeist.
Exactly. They liked Evil though, the TV show Evil, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. All stories aside, our last few minutes of this episode is a lightning round.
Okay.
So it's once again throwback of what we've talked about, and like I would love to get your answers and my answers too. So let's do this. Once again, it's a lightning round. The first thing that pops into your head.
Fine.
What is a haunted place that you always wanted to visit?
I don't know if it's considered haunted, but Dracula's castle.
Ooh, okay.
Well, I'm sorry, Vlad the Impaler's.
All right, Sam?
It's the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah, we talked about a whole bunch of most haunted places in our third episode. One of those. I don't know why I don't have an answer to this. I'm just gonna ask. Next one. Favorite paranormal show?
Haunting. Wait, like any scary like ghost show, or is this like the ghost adventures type show, like investigating?
Way back then, again, we did a best of paranormal. So any of the shows we literally talked about, from Stranger Things,
Haunting of Hill House,
Stranger Things, of course. What's your favorite paranormal show, supernatural show from the 90s?
From the 90s?
Yes.
X-Files.
Yeah, X-Files.
We also talked about Buffy and Charmed, though, with you.
Oh, don't make me choose between
X Factor. There it is.
Tough.
The hot goss with me. Favorite witchy practice?
Divination.
Ooh, nice.
Voodoo.
You are. That's a whole yes. This is why we're definitely going to have season 7 at this point already. There's so many things to uncover. Oh my goodness. Favorite idea count for scary, spooky things? I mean, do we have any account that we can think of?
Oh, like a favorite spooky account on Instagram?
Yep.
This weirdo, Sam's so spooky.
Yay, thank you.
I would say so.
There's so many that I follow, but like I can't think of all their names right now. Like,
we'll tag them down below. You gotta like send us a list and we'll tag them down below.
Yeah.
At least a few of them. Favorite IG account for spiritual stuff?
Ooh.
There's quite a few that I also have. Moon memes. I have my friend Chica Chica, as always. I give her a shout out earlier this season.
I mean, I don't think I follow anyone just at this moment, but I will say that an app I love is My Daily Tarot.
True.
I use it every single day and I absolutely love it.
I'm gonna use the pattern a lot.
Pattern's good.
We'll definitely tag them down below. We'll make up a list and tag more people like that. Favorite spooky tradition around the world?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't have any spooky traditions. Maybe I just like that white people stroll into haunted places like, let's go check this out. Love that tradition for us. We're doing pretty great at that.
Oh my
gosh. on this video when we post it on Insta with like the 1 minute intro or whatever, we need to have Eddie Murphy's stand up on haunted houses. It's the best thing ever.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Most recent spooky encounter to the day of the recording, I guess.
Most recent spooky encounter, I probably doing tarot, like with my ancestors and like my spirit guides and my ancestors communicating with me, which can get pretty funny. If not that, then a minor sleep paralysis experience in 2017.
Okay. Once again, this is great for to be continued stories in the future. I agree with you with the tarot and ancestors and connecting with your like other ethereal beings.
Yeah, they're so funny about it. I'll tell them to pull out one card and they'll pull out multiple. And I'm like, guys, you can't all talk at once. You gotta
exactly.
One card.
Just choose all together, please. Done.
I don't know if it's considered sleep paralysis. I don't think it is. But just the other night, I think I told you about it, Sam. There are points where I know I'm sleeping, but I can't wake up. And in whatever dream I was in, I was just infinitely falling. And like I could feel myself in the bed, but I felt like I was falling. But I was asleep and I could not wake up. And it's the most annoying thing because it's like, I know this is just a dream, but I can't wake up.
You know what? If it's not sleep paralysis, it's a possibility that you were beginning to astral project and you pulled yourself back.
I feel like it's more the second thing, sleep paralysis, knowing him, and he's very, very intuitive as well. So it's definitely the second thing.
Like I try and kill myself in my dream. I try to do everything like wake up.
No, but that's a whole spiritual meaning. This is why it's so amazing to like continue this journey because you have so many. He's just very intuitive.
I just realized that my actual, probably most recent spooky experience is that, like, because as I mentioned before, I'm clairaudient, so I hear people talking to me a lot.
I like that.
Usually they're like trying to get my attention.
Oh my God, are you Whoopi Goldberg from Ghost?
Not quite. I wish Patrick Swayze would come talk to me.
Oh my God.
You're just dancing with an old woman in your living room. It's like, babe, it's just Patrick Swayze. Don't worry about it.
And that actually could happen in real life. Oh, Patrick Swayze.
I mean, there was a woman who did marry like a 1,500-year-old pirate ghost who was in the news. They ended up divorcing, by the way. It's really sad.
Can't do. I can't.
Oh my goodness.
So you got yourself a man? Well,
oh God, look it up. Look it up.
This is a story.
Exactly. We're definitely looking this up.
He's a pirate ghost.
All right. My goodness. Favorite Halloween candy?
Starburst.
Reese's.
Twix.
Oh,
or Three Musketeers, actually. Or Kit Kat. Anyways, favorite Halloween tradition?
Carving pumpkins.
Costumes.
I liked costumes, and I was thinking of like maces and like picking up the pumpkins and stuff like that. I had like a lot of fun. I missed that. Costume you really want to wear?
Right now?
Yeah. For sure. it's I don't care that's May. I can wear costumes all the time.
Plague Doctor.
A plague doctor, that's right. For Dylan's plague doctor. For me, ooh, what do I want to wear? I actually don't know. It's weird. Usually I have like a million ideas, but right now
I have like tons of ideas. I do know, not necessarily just costume, but like cosplay.
I want to do cosplay.
I've always wanted to do Alice from Resident Evil.
Yeah. Of course. Her.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, Alice? Resident Evil. Which
Movies.
one? Oh.
That's a whole different conversation right there. Yeah.
Mark explained that to me too. No, movie Alice. Mila Jovovich. I love her.
Well, of course. I mean, but still no the what's it called, the video game.
Sam, you're gonna voice rant later for me.
I'm sorry. Alrighty then. 2 more to go. We can do this, folks. 3 words to describe this season's #KPM Supernatural.
Best season ever.
Damn right.
Burn the witch.
That's why I love you. Entertaining, deep, and TBC. In other words, to be continued. Basically. So before we ask you once more, where can we find you? Our special surprise. Do I tell them our special surprise?
Yes.
I think you should, because I don't know what it is.
Well, you should know, but here we are again, because of course. Today's last episode, yes, is the last one of the 2-parter that we just heard from like all of May, basically, May 4th and today. But Sam will be back once more for a super special, fun episode of KPM Supernatural. So we're doing the same with Sammy for True Crime. We did 8 episodes each, but then we have a nice 9th episode because you all love us so much that we're like, yes, we're going to give you more. And that's going to be a really fun one. Not that these weren't fun, to be honest. But it's going to have a different twist to it. So I will keep it mysterious.
It's going to be real horror. Yeah.
It's really scary, you guys. It's
so scary.
It's real life horror stories with this one.
I still think about it after all these years.
Same, yes. Scary, it really does, because it happens so constant to this very day. You still see it everywhere.
Yep.
We're not kidding you, by the way. It's still pretty scary. And that one should be aired the last week of May. It's not going to be on a Tuesday, but on a Wednesday. Wednesday 26th. So that's our special surprise. You'll hear Sam once more if you haven't heard her enough by now, or us talking about Supernatural once more. And yeah, Sam, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at SamSoSpooky for all my spooky stuff. And you can also find me at Sam the Creative for all my art stuff.
Yay! So yeah, please check her out. Please follow her along if you haven't done so by now, which I'm pretty sure you have. But hey, hope you all loved the season. We still have one more coming your way because that's how much we all love you. And thank you very much for listening for season 2.
It's been fun.
It's been hella fun. It's been so much fun. It's I'll get sentimental again because I always do.
Great.
I feel like I'm gonna cry like at the end of the season. I'll be like, oh my god. No, it's been lots of fun. So see you still in 2 weeks. Oh, not 2 weeks. I guess next week. I don't know. I don't even know what day we're in because that's life. But see you in our very super special episode. So we still got one more with you, Sam. Till then.
See you soon.
Bye.